You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
welcome to the show. My name is Dave, and this is a Fistful of Podcasts from Fistful of Podcasts. No, damn it. Sorry, from FFOPradio.com. If you go, full disclosure, everybody in the room, if you go to fistfulofpodcast.com, it is a Chinese porn site. Don't go there. FFOPradio.com is where you go for the us. So, guys, it's been a long time coming. I released the first one a while ago. This one has been building in Steam. Fan requests out of my ass. So here it is. Please, everybody, welcome back to the show. He's been here before. We got Shawn from the TCAP recap, right?
Hello, hello.
There we go. So, due to circumstances, we did the first TCAP review. It got shelved, finally hit, and it hit big. Everybody loved it. Like, I got requests all over the place. It said, more. I said, I'm working on it. Coronavirus, I said. And they're like, that's an excuse. And I was like, yeah. So here we are. Time has passed. Shawn and I here are going to break down episode 4 because the first 2 were awful. There was no police in the first 2.
Right.
You know, we all have to go through our growing pains. But in hindsight, you should have been like a producer. Chris Hansen himself. TCAP is to catch a predator for everyone not initiated. Chris Hansen should have been like, so we're going to invite over pedophiles. I'll talk to them and then they'll run away. Nobody said that. Because if they did, someone would be like, yeah, that does sound stupid. Let's get the cops. But they didn't till the third one. We already did the third one. It's now the fourth one. We're going to Greenville, Ohio. Now, Greenville, Ohio is nice because it's the first sort of
small backwood town kind of. Yeah, not your typical rural.
If I remember correctly, like the whole build-up is, you know, there are sex weirdos everywhere, even in small towns. No shit. Are there humans there? There's sex weirdos there. Surprise. So Greenville, Ohio,
kind of sheepish
or goatish, right?
That's kind of bashful of you.
We can talk about that later. But since the internet, no longer are we restricted to farm animals, because in Greenville, Ohio, a town of 13,000 people, I don't remember how many dudes they grab. How many dudes did they grab?
17.
17. Tons. That is a ton of dudes. Mm-hmm. Proportionally. In like the Netherlands, 50 murders a year, and that's a whole country. Here, 13,000 people, and they snag 17 pedophiles. Little off.
And that was minimum, not including all the others that they could have potentially done.
All the ones that are like, I think I smell a rat, and they gone. So let's break it open. Let's break it open. You know, whatever. So I sort of just want to focus on the characters, because literally the first 10 minutes of the episode is like breaking our back, trying to suck our own dick about how great we're doing. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, good news. The first one, we got to get all these pedophiles, and then we brought the cops in. And Chris Hansen gets to go, yay, I'm a hero. So now he's got...
Have you seen an episode of Dateline? I'm Chris Hansen.
Oh, and Stone... Here's the thing. The bumpers of Stone Phillips and Anne Rice are like the calming shores that you depart and return to. Stone Phillips has a presence. You know what I mean? I don't know what he looks like today. But back in the early noughties, he was, hi, I'm Stone Phillips, and I'm Ann Curry. And I'm like, oh, she's hot. We're getting past that. First Predator up. Maybe one of my favorites. Maybe top 5 probably. Alonzo Wade. Mm-hmm. Him I know right off the bat because he's like a Southern clown. Like, he shows up and delivers. Like, if you were scared, like, I wonder if someone's going to come in and act weird. He comes in with 2 cannon barrels on his shoulders, blasts through the room, and is a complete nightmare.
100%. I mean, this dude just kind of walks as like, I'm not here to do anything. I'm here to party. And
yeah.
What happens.
It's so bizarre because they're like, oh, here's Alonzo Wade. He's something, 40-something. Southern boy, good old boy.
41.
Yeah. He says, I'm here to party. He's got that perfect, like, I didn't know ding dong diddly dee dee dee. He's like a classic backwoods hillbilly. And so when Chris Hansen, to set the scene, our dude Alonzo walks in with a 24-pack of Keystone Light, right? Mm-hmm. And then 2 like party packs of mics in separate flavors. We got the yellow mics and we got the red mics. So obviously, he's either ready to party hard and fruity and long, or he's going to have sex with a child, because who else would bring Kool-Aid with booze in it?
Right.
A man who looks like Alonzo Wade with a NASCAR hat, jean vest, however, he just like he belongs on Farmers Only, but for poor people. There's no way he comes home from a hard day at the mine, at the factory, wherever Alonzo works. He comes home and he throws his lunchbox down, takes his soot-covered jacket off. He knocks the dust off his hat and he goes, honey, I'm home. And he opens up the fridge and there it's just like a glistening row of mics. No.
Bud Light, Keystone, just
come
something.
on. Keystone is like, different beers have different reputations, obviously. Your Pabst, your Keystones, all of your, so like
back end beers.
Yes. They are like the, so like where you've got Budweiser, you got Miller, you got Corona. Those are like your Paramount, your Universal, mega corporations. They pump out genuine quality products. And then you've got like Full Moon Bay, like the Puppet Master guys. Mm-hmm. That's Keystone. Like, you need something in you. You don't care what it is, and this is cheap. And that's what Alonzo brings to the party.
Probably my favorite scene with this guy was when Chris Hansen's sitting there looking at him. He's like, do you know why you're here? Well, because I'm looking at you, and I know you guys are looking for some pedophiles.
I'm not one of them. Yeah.
Like, dude, what the hell is a pedophiler?
Yeah. I think he confused. I would like to think that maybe he confused pedophile with profiler. He's like, I'm someone who profiles children for sex. That's a pedophiler. Work up a nice, like you're a mind hunter for children in a disgusting way. He made up his own disgusting job. I'm a pedophiler. And he pulls on his sunglasses and he pulls out a card. Pedophiler.
I guess it's real hands-on work there.
Yeah. I'm Agent Alonzo. Alonzo Wade, pedophiler. Good Lord. So, but there's one important part of Alonzo that I don't know why. I know why. Let me just set the scene. Alonzo comes in. So also, the excuse for this episode from the decoy, Del Harvey, is Band-Aid. Sometimes, depending on the episode, it's either Band-Aid or I'm getting out of the shower, or I'm changing my clothes. They, for some reason, even though each dude is a new dude, they stick with one. Like, have fun with it.
Yeah.
Everyone. It's just like, while you're out, like, and you have tons of problems. Tons of problems. But if you pull up to a foreign house, a strange house, and there's a child going, hey, I can't wait to have sex. They disappear. And you go into the house and there's no one there. And you hear, I'm getting a Band-Aid. When did that happen? I just saw you in shoes. Did you run in, take your shoes off, kick the door?
Good for you. We'll see you later.
Nobody. They're just like, I gotta get a Band-Aid, hang out at the bar that has one chair, another telegraph signal. This is nothing but red flags, and these dudes are blowing past them. How often do you walk into a house where there's a table with one chair? I haven't seen it, the chair. Which one? Oh, the one.
On the one thing, and then half the time as soon as they walk in, there's one of the other guys. Like literally, as soon as he walked in, yeah, I'll be right there. He's turning around like he's getting himself ready, like he's got stuff on the bar.
Yes.
Like he's starting to pull everything out of his pockets. And
oh, okay, yeah, I almost blew past it. You say pulling out of your pocket. He almost pulls his dick out of his pants. So Chris Hansen talks about it like he's flummoxed. You see, he's like, I gotta get a Band-Aid. And Alonzo goes, all right, I'm going to get ready for sex with a child. So he turns around and starts unzipping his pants. And he goes to the back door. And in my ignorance of youth, I thought maybe he's one of these old boy hillbillies who wants to go piss in the yard. Why? He just came into a house. He could say, where's the toilet? but maybe he likes pissing in the yard. I don't think that's what happened.
No.
What really happened is he wanted to have a
discovered
surprise
himself.
waiting. He wanted to have a Leaning Tower of Pisa, if you will, or corn. He's a farmer. He wanted his corn cob out. So he goes zip, and he goes, because he doesn't, when he goes back to that back door, he's not reaching for the doorknob. He's turning the deadbolt to lock.
Uh-huh.
Scary? Like, don't get me wrong. If your thing is penises, great. But if the thing is a penis followed shortly by ka-clunk, it is now scary.
This turned from To Catch a Predator to Criminal Minds.
Seriously. Because it's like, never in your any sexual experience, unless this is your weird thing, should you hear the slamming of a deadbolt. Because that means you're going to die. Oh, ready for sex? Yeah. Clunk. Ah!
I
Jesus
always knew
Christ.
I'd go out this way.
So then Alonzo is like, yep, time to do some assault. Lock. And that's when Chris is like, hey, man, what's going on? What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Your pants are down. Now your pants aren't down. Your zipper is open. You were just going to lock the back door. You were ready to meet up with Dell. And there's Chris Hansen. And he goes, how you doing tonight? And everybody answers casually. Fine. I'm in a strange house. Like, if I'm in a strange house doing something highly illegal and some dude pops out going, hey, yo, I'm gone. Not these guys. They always.
Every single person, it's 100%. Oh, you know, fine. How's it going? Oh, can you have a seat right here? Oh, yeah, sure. I'll sit and talk to you for a second.
Because even though it's like the stupidest game of cat and mouse, that's what's beautiful about To Catch a Predator. Because when you watch true crime interrogations, you weren't there for the crime. You don't know if the police are barking up the wrong tree, if this guy's just a weirdo, or if he's a criminal. To Catch a Predator is the perfect guilt-free pattern. Mm-hmm. It's like an Entenmann's biscuit. Guilt-free, no, fat-free, because we get to see the chat. It's not like these dudes wandered in and it was an actual misunderstanding. And it's like, oh, I didn't actually mean, oh, you didn't? Well, here, we have a phone book of things that you said to a child.
It's like, are you sure? Oh, yeah, no, I call shenanigans. BS.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, because there's always a part of you, and once it gets over to reasonable doubt, you say, it can't be. But even if you say, yeah, that guy's 100% guilty, part of you still says, but To Catch a Predator says, trust us. Read this. And you go, oh.
Well, the funny thing is, too, literally every single person that walked in, oh, no, I wasn't intending to have sex with a child. Right. I was lonely. I was here to mentor that. Like, I'm here to support that. It's like, no, here is your transaction. Bullshit.
Yeah. Do you know how many times I have approached someone, brought up my penis in an effort to help them emotionally, spiritually? Krista, I never come to her. I never say, hey, it's time for some spiritual growth. And I only have one tool. Zip. What? So, zip. So, Alonzo is a disaster. He, and the fact, I understand that since you do not know what's going on, you're in a situation, Alonzo's in a situation where he thinks, where everyone else knows exactly what's going on. So it's like watching a fish get pulled out of water and figure out what this new place is. But we're all looking at him like, idiot, you're a fish.
I know, right? What's going on here?
So it's hard, especially let's say Alonso is a Renaissance drinker. Let's say he does like a Keystone, but then he washes it down with a Mike's raspberry lemonade. He's his own man. Sure, if your story is I like both of these things, believable. If you bring enough to kill yourself and somebody else, if you drank it all, there's a hole in that logic.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I go to a party and they say BYOB, I BYOB, my own booze. So if I show up with enough to kill myself, something's wrong, or I'm extremely generous. This man does not seem generous. He does look like he could take it all, though. I bet he could polish off those things and still drive home.
Without hesitation. Oh, yeah.
He's like, he looks like a veteran in this category. And he says on the way out, because after giving up lie after lie after lie, and then being like, okay, well, here's the transcript. He goes, oh, damn. The last gasp of anybody who thinks of it in time goes, you can't put my face on TV, as they're out the door.
If you put this on TV, I'll
sue. You put this on TV, I'll sue. Okay. Let's unpack that just for a second. The case would be Alonzo Wade. They tricked me into trying having sex with a child, and I want money for that. They put it on TV. That's your case? You want to argue that? I thought I was coming to meet a child. They put me on TV. I want to... What?
I was here to party with a child.
Your Honor, I came here to party with a 14-year-old, and they put me on TV. Please arrest them. What? Case dismissed. Bang. If it ever,
And daytime TV at its best.
What a bonkers. So, yeah. So, Alonzo Wade sets us off with a beautiful start. Because he's not boring. He doesn't sit there like a dead fish like the next couple of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. So moving on from Alonzo, next dude who shows up, hit me with it.
Next guy was a 27-year-old named Green-Eyed 121.
Nathan something or Donauer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, just like every other form of media, they find the most salacious or the most like, oh, shocker. They say, this guy's from an evangelical Christian college. Like, they really drive that home. Like, even people who love Jesus can be sex perverts. Can you believe it, America? Oh. Yeah, it's only the early 2000s, and people have been banging each other since Jesus had been around. So, hey, it happens. So
it does.
He's so sad. He is the saddest sock puppet of a human I've ever seen.
I can't believe I did this.
So
I didn't intend to do this. I wasn't sure if I was going to go through with it or not.
Yeah, they say in nature you have two states of activity, fight or flight. And this guy chooses neither. He neither fights to prove himself innocent, nor does he fly away, escaping the danger. He sits there, and he is a bowl of rice pudding. And Chris says, what are you doing, you weirdo? And he goes, I don't want to. There was a girl. She said she was of age, and I had some sexual proclivities. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I don't know what the law says about this. What do you mean?
The law says?
I don't know what the law says about it. Well, it's illegal. And he goes, I was unaware of that. Okay, so you as a 31-year-old were completely unaware that sexual activity with a child is at very least taboo. But you didn't even entertain the idea of it being illegal? No, I have no idea.
Like something doesn't feel right here.
I don't know why idiots think that not knowing a law is like a get-out-of-jail-free card. It happens when people speed. They say, I didn't see the speed limit. Doesn't matter. They're not going to fine you for not knowing the speed limit. They're going to fine you for going faster. They don't care if you knew it or not. If you murder someone, the cops don't go, hey, full honesty, you got to answer honestly, Shawn. I saw you murder that guy. You tell me right now. Did you know murder was against the law?
Depends on who you ask.
Hey, I'm a policeman. You better straighten up and fly right. Did you know murder was against the law? And you go, no. Oh, shit. He's like really like his hands are right above his cuffs, right? And he's like, admit you know that it's a law and I'll arrest you. And you go, no. It's like, it's the old...
I'm sorry, you do not have my consent to arrest me.
Right? It's like, here are the two pieces of information that everyone except criminals think is true. If you don't know what a law is, you don't have to obey it, number one. And number two, and this one is the most confusing. Studio's falling apart.
What the hell was that? I didn't move.
Don't worry about it. This place is falling apart. That's why we're leaving. So the two things, again, ignorance of the law means bulletproof shield versus, hey, are you a cop? You have to say yes if I ask you. Really? Really? You think that?
Really?
So imagine this situation, Shawn. I want to run this up your flagpole. Tell me if this reads as realistic to you. Don't worry about that. You're a cop. You're not anything special yet. You're a beat cop. You work your way up the ranks. They say, you're a detective. You say, aye, boss. They say, hey, you've been doing so good. We're going to take you undercover. You're going to go undercover. We're going to train you how to infiltrate this drug cartel, this sex ring, whatever you're doing. We're going to train you to, within an inch of your life, to infiltrate this thing. Great. 2 years later, grows out his nice long drug dealer hair, gets the handlebar mustache, has all the training. He fits perfectly into the seedy underbelly of society. He gets in front of the Don. It's his big day. He's got someone to vouch for him. He's gone through all the vetting process of the mafia. And there's the Don. He goes, my friend, he says, you're a good mafia type guy. I have one question. And so here you are. Make it or break it. You're a cop. You spent your entire life being a cop. And not only that, this is the penultimate in your career. And the Don says, are you a cop? And you go, fuck! And you have to say yes? In what form of reality? Like, are you stupid? Are you a cop? You have to tell me. No. Whew. Good thing cops can't lie. Except they do it all the fucking time. That's just a little...
Save myself there.
That's a civics lesson from your pal Dave Dervis to his friends. Okay, so yeah, Green Knight 121. He drives up in his little Dodge Neon. And I don't even know. I want you, because you want to rag on this dude because he's there for all the wrong reasons, but he puts up zero fight.
He strongly emphasized on, you can't do anything. Nothing happened yet.
Right. Because people think that as long as you're not in... That's another thing that I don't understand. Like, oh, are you a cop? Yeah or no? Oh, no. So when the here's my issue. When the defense is, but nothing's happened, and there's 90 pages of really gross, explicit chat, I wonder in their head, are they thinking, well, since she never saw my penis, I only described it graphically. Oh no, she did. Yeah, I did show her a picture of that. And then there was that video. Oh yeah. Nothing about that seems illegal to you? We didn't do anything. I just wrote her 800 words worth like it's a novel. Mm-hmm. If this got put onto Amazon Prime, you'd be able to get it for $2.99 in your Kindle right now. And people would be like, ooh, because that's how fucking long it is. Nothing's happened. Let's ask this 12-year-old. Did something weird happen? Uh-huh. But whatever. And that's why they were hitting the evangelical aspect of him, because if they didn't have or get to say rather, he's a Christian, look how weird, they would have cut his ass.
Yeah.
Like if he came from, instead of like Grand Canyon Christian University like we have here, if he just came from ASU, they'd be like, oh, he's just a really mild-mannered dude who likes sex with children. Cut, gone.
All right, cool. Sounds good. Next.
But then they justify it by like, it's Stone Phillips every two. Christian college right after this. And the thing flies past the screen. Dateline. So yeah, Nathan comes and goes. He puts up every time.
He didn't come, but he sure did go.
Oh, he left. He went. He wanted to come because he bought condoms for the first time. So sad. 27 years old. We're going to jump around a little bit. But when they interrogate him, that's where the gold is with Nathan Donauer, because Chris gets nothing out of him. He just sits there like, I just wanted to come over and have a good time. I love Jesus, obviously. But then they get in front of the detectives, and he gets to ask the questions that...
This cop is reaming into him.
Because Chris has to try and keep him there. He's got to be the sweet... he's got to be honey to keep these flies.
Uh-huh.
You're in the jar with the cop, so he didn't have to be nice. So he says, let me get this straight. You're 27 years old, you never have sex? And he goes, yes. And he says, you have a box of condoms in your car and you've never had sex.
That you bought today.
Today. He goes, yes. And he says, you bought those condoms to have sex for the first time tonight with a child. And he goes, that was the original plan. Are you fucking kidding me? I had planned. He made a plan. How ridiculous is that? Like he got on a piece of paper and he goes, time to make the plan. Step 1, leave Christian college. Step 2, buy condoms for the first time. Step 3, drive in the middle of nowhere. What the fuck? Poor Nathan Donohue. And the cops, oh my God. It's almost like watching someone beat a rug.
100%.
He's just hanging there.
He's lifeless.
And Chris and these detectives are taking big swings at him, and he's just like, whereas Alonzo's like beating a stricken dog. He's like, oh, whoa, and his wiener's out and everything. It's crazy. So Nathan comes and goes. Who comes after Nathan? The firefighter?
After Nathan, it was the firefighter paramedic.
Quote unquote firefighter. Even to a 12-year-old, you've got to make yourself the hero. I'm a firefighter. But here's the thing. With this guy, what's his name? Real name?
His real name? I didn't catch his real name. Jay Tenno.
Yeah, it's Jason something or so, whatever. So this guy, if you're going to lie, make it believable. I realize he's trying to get with a kid, and so they're probably not going to ask all the hard questions that me as an adult would. But if I meet someone online, they say, yeah, I'm a fireman, and they show up and they're 5'4" and 700 pounds, and they got winded going from the car to the door, I'd be like, you're a fireman? And he goes, he's like, you told this girl you're a fireman. He's like, I'm a paramedic. He's, again, lifeless. He's a dead fish. But the foot fetish, that's what makes him twitch. Because
we're going to, kiss and cuddle. Can I touch your feet?
Oh, my God. Can I get at those feet? Boy, oh, boy. Does he want to get at those feet? And he's on track to be another Nathan Donohue. He's like, hey, man, what's up? He's like, I don't know. I'm sorry. And I did this, blah, blah. And it's just like, he's going to give as little as possible. But then Chris is like, what's up with the feet? And he goes, ah! Like he gets hit with electricity. He's like, all right, no. Like as if he started hitting him in the head with a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
No, don't read it.
Stop.
My feet thing.
There it is.
The rubber. Okay. This is also one of my favorite To Catch a Predator moments. Because we cut to, they go out, his ass is busted, and then in the second half, we see the interrogation. It says, what did you come out here to do tonight? And he goes, kiss, rub her feet. So he clearly says, rub her feet. And the detective, who's completely checked out, is moving along so fast. He says, rubber feet? Rubber feet? I keep thinking when he says, I'm going to rub her feet, and he hears, you're going to give her rubber feet? Just the way he says it is like this. He's like,
emphasizing
feet. Rubber feet? Huh? No, they're regular feet. I was going to rub them. Oh, okay. I'm a detective.
Rubber feet is the new thing we're all doing.
Rubber feet? Because he gets that. You see it in his face. You see it in his body language. He's like, rubber feet? Like, I feel like he legitimately misunderstood and thought that he was going to be delivering rubber feet.
You're watching it. You're watching the hamster turn. Is like he looks at the other detective. They're both like rubber feet.
Rubber feet. Oh, you're a pervert. And they continue writing.
Okay. That makes okay. We got you.
He's he's the first dude of this episode who immediately apologizes, but then he goes, because everybody their thing is to like immediately lay on their belly and be like, please don't kill me. So he goes, I'm sorry. I know, and I'm sorry. So obviously the next question is, sorry for what?
Like, why you're here.
Right.
Yeah.
And no one ever, like, why are you saying sorry? When forced to, because everyone can say, oh, I'm sorry. Why are you sorry? There's a child here I wanted to get with, but you can't say that. You're just like, because I was doing something stupid. No, holding an M80 and lighting it until the fuse disappears and explodes, losing your fingers, that's stupid. You had a calculated gross plan. Like, stupid didn't enter. If you were like, I like bananas, and somehow she still you're like, oh, I like football and I like saltwater taffy. And she's like, do you like sex? You're like, whoa, boy, do I? And then she bamboozles you.
Sure, all right.
Big mistake. That 12-year-old got you. But since you're 30 and she's 12 and probably not interested in you, was it a mistake? Was this an accident? Oh, whoops. I talked about sex for 30 hours with a child. Momentary lapse over 30 hours. Little moment.
Interesting thing with this one, he even first thought, like, are you a cop?
Yeah.
He asked her that a couple times in the chat.
Because he thinks they have to say yes. Why would you think that? Like, the amount of, like, what you call it, reassurance he must have gotten asking more than once. Because even if you're one of those dudes who's like, well, maybe they'll lie once, but they can't lie twice. Or maybe you think a cop is also a genie where you have to do 3 of something before you break the spell. I don't know what these idiots are thinking. But people, no matter what their vocation, can straight up lie to your ass. Especially...
It's like the fairies, you got to ask 3 times.
Yeah. Like, these aren't mythical figures. If you catch a cop by his pant leg, he's not going to show you to a pot of golden donuts. If one flies around in the night screaming, wah, that's his car. He's not a banshee. These aren't mythical figures.
I want golden donuts.
Good news. Or sorry, bad news. They don't exist.
Oh.
Cops aren't leprechauns.
Damn.
They're regs-ass people who can lie to you. They're not the Loch Ness Monster. No Bigfoot. You don't have to collect the droppings of a cop to get them analyzed to prove they exist. They are just like you and I, my friend. And if you say, hey, I'm a criminal, are you a cop?
No.
I have never even heard of what is cop?
What is this term cop that you talk about?
Because you could be that stupid. Like if somebody, like if you're not a criminal yet, but this is your first time, and you are still under the impression of, are you a cop? You have to tell me. You know, my answer would be like, I am not cop. Because it doesn't matter. Even if you said, yeah, I am a cop. They'd be like, are you serious?
Just like, are you a cop? Sure.
If
Yeah.
you yeah, I lie to people all the time. Truth or lies. If it's funny, I'll do it. And if someone says something and I have the opportunity to steal whatever they have and turn them upside down by telling them a lie that I will immediately obviously undo because I'm completely ethical about most of the things I do. Most. Some people I'll drag along for miles. But that's the thing. Cops, they'll hook you up behind the car and be like, see you at the station. So who we got next? Do we have Devoot yet?
No. Next we have, let me see here. It's the 42-year-old training manager,
Tim.
Rake and Ride.
Yes. Tim something. Shit, doesn't matter. His name's Tim. This is the penultimate Uncle Coach character.
100%.
If you walk into like a casting agency and you said, I need someone to play a coach on a football team in the middle of America, and you close your eyes and you try to will that person into existence, it's Tim. It's Park and Ride. He's got the perfect coach uncle mustache. He's got the perfect dad short haircut. He wears the cap.
The dad polo.
The sweater. He's chewing gum like a maverick. He's just going here to get with a kid. It's 2 a.m. I'm here for football. And so here he is. Uncle Tim shows up. He gets a good scare, though. You get to see the micro expression because he's sitting there. And Chris's opening line is great because it's literally 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little late to be prowling around, this hour of the night. He goes, yeah, it is, isn't it? You're in a stranger's house. He popped out making small talk and you just fall right in. Not like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's just like, yeah, it is. It is a dark night, real late. I'm in your house. What do you think about that? Well, yeah, it is, isn't it? And he does this seems counterintuitive to me. So when our buddy Tim runs in, when all of the people are caught off guard, they lock onto Chris. They make eye contact because they're like, a new thing I must assess. Tim is the only one to break eye contact and keep it completely cash. Because you see him for a second, he goes, oh, it's a little Chris Hansen. You see him for a second, and he goes, yeah, it is, isn't it? And he rolls his head like he's looking off into the distance. But there's a wall 2 feet in front of him. So what's he looking at? He looks like a ridiculous... How do I look?
How do I get out of this?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Oh, crap.
Nice credenza.
Wow, this crown molding's really nice in here.
Oh, is that oak? Why are you here?
Hey, I haven't seen you in a couple years. Oh.
So, dude comes in. He's like, you know what? I'm not here for nothing funny. I'm just a regular dude in his mid-40s showing up at a stranger's house at 2 a.m. to hang out with a child. Nothing sketchy about that, right?
He even admitted when talking with the child, 15 could get me 20.
Yeah, probably will, he says. Hey, he's like laughing the whole time. And he's like, I got boys that are 20 and 21, sir. What does that mean?
How would you feel if your kid was here? Well, I'd be upset with them too.
What? It's so bizarre what we will give up, like, for, or like offer up as like, oh, well, see, I'm not a bad guy. Here's the proof. And his proof is he has sons? Okay. What? Like, if someone caught you with a giant Bowie knife stuck in someone's chest and they turn around, you slowly pull it out and they die. And they go, what the fuck? And you're like, I've got sons who are 20 and 21, sir. Blood dripping down your hand. Oh, I just Rambo'd this dude, but I have kids. Okay, we're going to jail.
Oh, I guess we'll let you off with this one time.
Okay. So yeah, his whole thing is like the uncle vibe. He's chewing the gum, and he keeps asking. He's like, "Who are you, sir?"
I knew there always was something there, but it's 100% that creepy uncle who lives in the basement of his mom's house kind of vibe.
You know, he's got 2 sons of his own, and he has a brother who has daughters that he creepily pervs on all the time. All of the dudes, like the high school kids that he teaches high school football to, you know, all of their sisters are like, stay away from that dude. That's why he took to the internet. So what else is like noteworthy about him? Because all of these people can be just dumbed down to one thing. Alonzo Wade, he's a good old country boy who likes to party. Fucking Nathan, what's his nuts? Evangelical Christian College. Then you got the foot fetish dude. Then you got Uncle Tim. Now is it Devoot?
I think so. The next one after Tim was the 27-year-old Turkish student.
Yeah.
Knock socks.
He's the only one who seems affected. He's the only one who isn't like trying to play up an ego or pretend.
Mm-hmm.
He just immediately knows, and this is also the first one. It's only the 4th episode, so I don't know why this is a milestone. But Chris Hansen goes out of his way to be like, yeah, this is the first time people bring Jesus into this. Or in this case, it was Muhammad because he was Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Dude from Turkey. And he goes, you know, it's illegal to have sex with a kid. And he goes, yeah, I didn't know that.
My religion tells me it's wrong.
Yeah, but don't say that because you're here. Don't say, hey, like if someone pulls you out of a burning car that you crashed into a bridge and your first words are, I've always been taught to avoid bridges. Why did you just say that? What? You loved that bridge. You met it head on. I hate bridges. Don't say that. Don't say the exact whatever. My religion says I shouldn't be here. Oh, that's weird. Where are you?
Then why are you here?
Yeah. And so, you know, whatever. All of these, maybe it's a different culture too. So all the dudes who roll in, they feel safe by virtue of being white, I feel. Like Alonzo, all these dudes rolling in, they're like, hey, I'm Uncle Tim, I'm Alonzo, we're all white, it's fun. When Davut comes in, like, it's probably the whole like Muslim aspect of it, and they have a lot of different, and their values are different in Muslim as opposed to Christianity, and I'm sure he's also feeling like, I'm a minority, so this is already way more dangerous than normal. And he's just like, he's like a mouse trying to fight off a lion. He's like, please, no. And he's just eviscerated. Chris Hansen takes no time to stop destroying him.
He hammer. I mean, this, like I said, the first thing is like, you know, yes, my religion, it's against my religion. And then Chris just, boom. Why'd you do it? You said this. You were talking to her about, you know, having her do this, and this to you. And he's just,
It's such a sad, because that's the thing. Chris has to read the situation, and if he knows they're not going to get up and bolt, he'll go at him. But all the dudes before were squirrely. Because Alonzo, he was up, everybody, this guy sat down, and he planted himself. You could almost feel his ass grab the seat when Chris pops out. The tension was so.
Buns of steel. Sorry, it's kind of corny.
The guy, he does. There's two ways to go out. If you're not just going to walk out and pretend like nothing happened, you do the Alonzo. You say, "Put this on the air, I'll sue," or
Grabs all of his beer and just walks out.
He made himself bigger. He's like, "Put this on the air, I'll sue." He puffs himself up to fill more of the frame, grabs his booze, and he says, "See you later." And then there's the flip side of that coin, which Devoot is. He shrinks up to the size of a lint ball, pulls his hoodie up, and he scurries outside like he's one of the little dwarfs from Star Wars.
Zips this hoodie. I mean, like, you see his eye.
Yeah.
That's like
Yes.
as deep as back thing as he could.
And he's back out to the desert with the sandcrawler, hopefully, but then the cops nail him.
Damn Jawas.
That was the word I was looking for, Jawas. I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I am a fan of dudes running out of a house and getting tackled. And that's the thing, too. In this situation where you've got a dude showing up expecting one thing, his world crumbles, there's Chris Hansen. I've seen it both ways because I've seen all the TCAPs. The ones that end up with the dude walking out and the cops walking out nice and slow and be like, "Sheriff's office, we're here to get you, blah, blah, blah." Those ones always go so nice. Mm-hmm. Because when you walk out of that house, your emotions are high, your ears are ringing, shit is falling apart, and then you got a dude shouting at you. It's going to take 45 seconds for you to pull your head out of your ass and be like, "What?" And by then, you've eaten 4 pounds of gravel. Because it's like, "Oh, get on the goddamn ground, motherfucker." And you go, "Ah!" But there's, not to jump ahead, because we'll get to it eventually, I'm sure, but in one of the California ones, maybe it was Petaluma, dude walks out, and my favorite cop of all, not the detective, but one of the actual cops, he just walks out from around the corner of the house. He goes, "Hi, police department, show me your hands." And he does. It works perfectly.
Casual, nonchalant.
Yeah, he's just arms swinging to the side. He goes, "Hi, Santa Monica police, put your hands up." And he does.
Yes,
Every other
sir.
time, it's 90 dudes that end with like 2 electronic probes in someone's sphincter. Why not look at this perfectly zen cop who walks out and he's like, "Hey, I'm a cop and you're a pedophile. Please sit down."
Pedophiler, sorry.
Pedophiler. I am a police officer and you're a pedophiler. So please get on the floorifiler. Love that dude. But these dudes are intense. "Police, get on the ground!" And they'll put a knee in your back and they'll say, because it's not like in the situation, you don't ever see them resist.
No, because
They're confused.
they can't like, there's no way. Like, they have been caught.
Right.
Red,
Well,
bloody handed.
Not only that, but it's not even like, because let's say they're walking up expecting to be ambushed, right? So they're ready. If the police jump out and they go, "Police, freeze!" Then they'll throw their hands up because they're like, "I knew it was going to happen." But we disarm them because when they get inside, Dell says, "I gotta get a Band-Aid for my toe," because that's the excuse that we pulled out of a fucking hat. Relatable. And so your world is spinning. You're no longer in a like mindset where you're like, because the thing is, you feel like you already got caught. This is the 4th investigation, so they don't even like by 5th and 6th. They're like, "Are the cops outside? Tell me, are the cops outside?" Obviously, they are. This one, they have no idea.
Which is incredible because, I mean, this is what, our 4th season, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, with increasing the internet and people, being more aware of it, you think more and more people would be like, "Oh, I've heard of this. I've seen this before." And just kind of start to get that.
Yeah, but
The cops are outside.
We don't get the penetration into this subset of culture until like episode 6 or something. Because the first 4 or 5, it's like, if there is any precautions taken at all, it's, "Are you a cop? Yes or no? Please send me a reply." But by the end, in like Murphy, Texas or whatever, they will literally ask, "Are you with Datelines to catch a predator?" No. Whew.
Okay, we're safe.
Dateline's like the cops. You can't lie. Huh?
To backtrack, a quick second.
Sure.
I definitely want to see, this decoy with how often they've cut their foot. I actually want to take a look at this foot.
Right. Because in the reality of the situation, by the last dude, if they were keeping the like, why not do that? Why not jump to the extreme? Because Not that anybody ever sees the red flags, but to me, it would at least be funnier. So you got Dell out there. It's 2 a.m. The scene plays out invariably every time. She's out there. The headlights hit her. She goes, "Hey, come on inside." Jet's inside. Dude, oh, that's weird. We're supposed to have sex, but she ran like a scared chicken. Oh, well, I'll just follow her. Do. Since they're not paying attention anyway, make her both feet mummy feet. Bandages, Band-Aids, gauze, wrap them up, make them as big as fucking boots.
Do something to increase that plausibility.
Something. And then when she runs upstairs and out of sight, she can be like, "Oh, I horribly burned my feet by stepping into a fryer. So now I've got to change my bandages. It'll take a few hours. I'll be right back." They would still say, "Okay.
All right.
I was going to have sex with someone without burned feet, but my standards are low enough that even if they are charred to a crisp, they look like 2 burnt matchsticks at the end of your ankles."
I mean, she can't run away.
She can. It'll just sound weird. It'll be like the bone hitting the floor. Hopefully you heard that on the mic. It's like this.
Nobby, no.
My bones! Fall down. If there were a way, safely and scientifically, I think I would do that. I would remove a foot. If I could have them give me that perfect double bilobed bone at the end that I could run around clunk, clunk, clunk. Be hilarious. And I'm dedicated to comedy that much. So who do we got next?
Oh, let's see. After that, we have Good Body 1330. This was
He's our Jesus kid.
Yeah.
He's our real big Jesus kid who hits it first. He also gets a nice scare. Mr. Goodbody shows up. Goodbody, maybe not do that. You got the face of a 12-year-old and the body of a 10-year-old. He looks doughy and sad and young and scared. He looks like a 10-year-old who snuck into his 20-year-old brother's body to go and fuck around and got caught immediately.
And now his brother's taking the body back over, and what the hell's going on?
Oh, shit! He just wakes up in prison. And here's the thing that obviously they're going to bring presents. Alonzo brings booze. Everybody brings something. Everybody brings condoms. And there's probably still to this day a silo of sex gewgaws that were taken by To Catch a Predator alumni alone that stretches to the heavens and it's completely full. So...
Yeah, this Mike's Hard right here. Yeah, this particular one, season 4, episode 2. Yeah, I remember this guy.
Yeah, could you imagine? It would be like an episode of Pickers, where just like 2 true crime buffs walk through a barn full of all the greasy, gross, disgusting shit that dudes brought. And you turn over a thumbtack and you're like, "Oh, this is Seattle Bareback Boys that What's-His-Nuts brought for so-and-so at episode 13, like right around the 18-minute mark." And you go, "Oh, that's Seattle Bareback Boys. Here's the mics that Alonzo was going to drink." Woo! Click, 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 click. What a tourist destination. I'd go.
It's what was that? That's, like the end of the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
The giant warehouse, just endless.
Just
and then on the left hand side, right hand
just
side.
that sans the secrecy. Have a nice little Disneyland style tram ride. Get whatever. Oh, if you look to your left, you'll see DeVoot's hoodie that he pulled over directly over down to his navel and ran out of the house. There it is. Click, click, click. Flash, 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 flash photography. Guys in Hawaiian shirts and ladies with big sunglasses and big straw hats. Ooh! To Catch a Predator warehouse land. I'd go. $10 a pop. Count me in. I'll go twice.
Back to back.
Back to back. I said, ooh.
You get
There
the
it is
left
again.
side, and you get the right side.
Yeah. Because the second time I would look for weaknesses so I could slip away and pop up on one of those mics. Because at this point, it'd be like breaking open a bottle of wine from the 1400s. It's 2021. That shit was bought in 2004. Let it breathe. Pour it into a nice, long, tall-ass brandy snifter. Swirl it. Ah, the lemons smell as fresh as the day they were squeezed.
I poured that thing to a stein.
Alonzo, and you swirl it. Like a wine taster.
I can still taste the corn from him.
Yeah, I can taste the flakes of his penis as they floated through the air. Anyway, where were we? Who's the next dude?
We're We're talking about the Jesus boy. Good
Right.
boy.
Okay. Yeah. Mr. Goodbody. Mr. Goodbody shows up. Best scare, probably in the history of To Catch a Predator.
Oh, yeah.
Because the reason I got started on the tangent is he was supposed to bring rum and a couple other things. So I don't know why. Sometimes they check in with the gifts, sometimes they don't. But she goes, oh, Band-Aid. And he goes, yeah, I've heard it. I've been watching the episodes. Band-Aid. Okay, well, I'll wait here. She goes, did you bring the rum? And he goes, no, I'll explain it when you get down. Why wait? Number one. And he starts rubbing his chin. He's like, yeah, I'll explain it. And so Chris goes, no rum. And he goes, ah! Like, as if,
Oh, my God.
it was as if he were sitting in the electric chair casually. There was no execution set for today, but someone hit the switch and he got lit up.
I was shocked by it, too.
Oh, so good. Because he loses it for like 3 whole seconds and he's able to pull it together. And he's like, oh, no, rum.
Okay. Now we're... Oh, hey.
He almost, if you've seen the movie Orgasmo.
No.
So, for the listener, Orgasmo is the Matt Stone, Trey Parker, like, comedy porno type thing where Trey Parker gets a giant laser that when you shoot people gives them orgasms because he's a Mormon porn star.
I'm going to check this out.
It's bonkers. If it's your cup of tea, it's your cup of tea, believe me. But what he does is, before he becomes Orgasmo the superhero, he's just a dude with an orgasmo ray. So he's running around zapping people, and it's hilarious. So,
You're a superhero?
yes, Orgasmo and Chota Boy is his sidekick. Have you seen Basketball?
Yes.
So you know Squeak?
Uh-huh.
He's Chota Boy.
Okay.
He also invented the Orgasmo ray and is a practitioner of hamster-style kung fu that he gave up one day over a bowl of cereal. You have to see the movie. Moral of the story is, pew, 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 zapping all these people. Every time they jizz their pants, they fall to the ground. The ladies have a big O, they fall to the ground. There's one character played by Matt Stone. Maybe Trey Parker, the dark-haired one.
Okay.
And he's like, fuck yeah. He's like a really dead behind the eyes, like grip who loves porn and he's super stupid. Oh yeah, fuck that pussy. He's always ruining takes because he's screaming, giving the people encouragement. You can't do that on a live set. That's not the important part. The important part is they zap him. He's in the middle of a conversation, yada, yada. Zap, he goes, oh! And continues. That's Mr. Goodbody. But instead of getting hit with an orgasm ray, he got shot with a fear bullet. Chris Hansen goes, pew! He goes, ah! And then he's fine. He goes, shit. He goes, have a seat. He goes, all right. I love Jesus, by the way. Please. I think he even wears a cross.
Yeah.
He shows up like looking like a bouncer for a preschool. Black t-shirt, nice silver crucifix, gelled hair, glasses. He's like, no one's getting in without handing over a little juice money. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
He's like Michael Clark Duncan if he worked at a preschool and was white and alive still. So yeah, he's like, hey man, what's the deal? And he's like, his story is sad, if true. If true, it is sad because he said he touched base with friends and his pastor about this.
It's like, I'm just lonely. I'm just looking at making friends. Like, just this is what came about. I talked to my friends about it. I even went to my pastor.
How did that conversation go?
Literally, his pastor's like, dude, I do not recommend, like, this is like,
no, I guarantee he left out all the salient details.
Like, do not do this.
Mr. Goodbody rolls into the rectory. There's Pastor Chad, Pastor Duncan, whoever. He's sitting there, because he's a cool guy. He's at a cool church. They play guitar during the service. He goes into the rectory and he's like, hey, man, it's me, Mr. Goodbody. He goes, hey, man, it's me, Pastor Dustin. Have a seat. So Mr. Goodbody says, I'm having a spiritual dilemma. He's like, hit me with it, man. Let's rap. Because he's a cool guy. Remember, he's Pastor Dustin. He goes, this is the story he tells. I met a girl online and now I want to go meet her. So the pastor, not knowing that child months ago was an embryo, says, hey man, follow your heart and let go and let God. He says, let Mothman take the wheel, he says. Because I guarantee if Mr. Goodbody was like, oh,
By the way, she's
by
13.
the way, yeah, small detail. I'm sure it won't, because after getting all the like, yeah, do it. You're fine. Say the Hail Marys. I'm sure as he was out the door and the door is closing, he's like, by the way, she's 13. Click. And Pastor Dustin, what? Mr. Goodbody was gone. Puff of smoke. He got the okay, and he's like, time to bang a 13-year-old. And he ran as fast as he could. And Pastor Dustin opened the door of the rectory as fast as he could to be like, wait. It's too late.
Oh, he's gone now. He's in God's hands.
He says, let go and let Mothman. I've got to do what's best for Pastor Dustin. And he shuts the door and he goes back to counting the collection. Donations. Whatever. Everybody's got their own word for money that you don't have to work for, that you give to the church. That sort of thing.
Charity.
You know, not for
The
nothing.
money, not the stripper.
Right. Here's the thing. This is a small tangent. But when you're a child and your allowance is anywhere between $1 and $5 a week, and you are then asked to give anywhere from 100% to 20% of your total earnings into a gold dish that is already full of money, you think, what the fuck? I'm 8 and I have 5 of these. You don't get one. Sorry, God. Dave gets this. Dervis is keeping it. My own personal thing. So
I'm spending this on soda, candy, and comic books.
Now, no, I didn't even have that far ahead, because after church, there's the hangout, and they have donuts, and they get you there fucking too. They say, hey, we're going to sing our songs, we're going to do all our weird shit, we're going to light our candles, put the money in the big golden thing, and not only that, because you see the one that comes by, and then the altar boys collect them all, and you see there's 40 of them, and they're all full of cash. And I think, what the fuck? Whatever. Just let the boredom end. The boredom ends. Donut time. It's after church. It's time to hang out and get some donuts. There's a little basket at the front of the line before the donuts. What's that for? Money.
Donations.
They want more fucking money. They just squeezed hundreds of dollars out of these assholes, and now they're like, hey, you don't want to feel like an asshole and take a donut without giving church more money.
Yeah, I do.
Back then, this is the 80s. Keep this in mind. I want you to, in real dollars, it's astronomical. In 1986, to give someone $1 at a church for a single donut is like right now giving someone a gold Cougaran for a gumball. It was 1986. $1 is now worth $387. Donuts have not raised in value. I wish I had that dollar and put it in a bank, because I have 387 of those bitches now instead of a donut.
Actually, I think some of the value of donuts have decreased. I mean,
Yeah.
a Krispy Kreme from the 1990s tastes nothing like it does now.
Yeah, and especially after I'm done with it, no one will eat it, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
People are like, it doesn't even smell like a donut. I'm like, trust me, it did once. It's $1, please. I need to recoup some more. I'll give you 50 cents off. I need money. I'm trying to sell my turds is what I'm getting at here, Shawn. Yeah, Mr. Goodbody. I shouldn't say we. I shouldn't put that on you. I keep digressing. So, but, you know, he gives us the whole.
It's along the same path. We got it.
Yeah, I mean, he gives the whole Jesus excuse. Obviously, like, if you look at your wrist and there's a WWJD bracelet on it, he forgot to look, because one thing Jesus would not do is drive a few hours to get with a child. He'd be on a mountain or splitting fishes and loaves. He's got shit to do. What would Jesus do? He'd go to work. He's not going to get rowdy on the weekends with some rum and a 13-year-old. That's what Jesus would not do. That's what people don't ask. You know, one wrist, WWJD, right? Other list, WWJND. That's the important one. There's a lot of stuff he would do. What wouldn't he do? That's what you got to stop.
I can see somebody stop. It's like, wait a minute. What would he not do? Would he do this?
You're like sitting there and you've got the syringe of heroin, right? And you're about to jam it into the base of your dick. And you're like, what would Jesus do? If he had the syringe, he'd probably do it.
Let's go ahead and meet him.
But then you look at the other hand, you're like, what would he not do? Would he not put the heroin in his dick? I'm so confused. The heroin gets into the dick. Jesus isn't there. They're just bracelets. People love drugs. So Mr. Goodbody, he comes in, he goes, he's like, hey, Jesus brought me here and Jesus is going to take me away. I got to give it to God. He lets go and lets Mothman. So who rolls in next?
Next, we got the 33-year-old mechanical engineer, not Buckeye.
Net Buckeye.
Net Buckeye.
And his real name, what does he look like? Can you describe him? Net Buckeye. I know these things. They're all characters in my life. I know these people.
So this guy, he kind of like 33 casual single guy, you know.
Oh, is he the guy with the letter?
He's the guy with the letter.
Shit, yeah, okay.
Was
Boom.
super, super careful.
Here
in
we
his
go.
Chats in with Chris, like, I'm not going to talk about sex, but you know what happened.
This has been a perfect progression because it's been bare bones to no plan up until Net Buckeye. There we go. Joseph, he walks in. He's like your, he's got the face of a guy who says, hey, I'm always in the friend zone. And he's got the leather jacket of a guy who says, please let me out of the friend zone.
The bachelor jacket.
Yes. He shows up and he's got that sort of like quirky, sort of smart alecky smile. And he shows up and he's like, hey, man, you know, and he's like, hey, man, here's my first excuse. I tried, but Jesus didn't stop me. Sorry, big JC. You couldn't catch me. This guy's essentially like the Lucky Charms leprechaun when it comes to children because Jesus couldn't stop him. So he says, I've been going to a new church. He gives us this whole backstory. Doesn't matter. If you quit a job, you go to a new church, you take up flying lessons. You can't write that on a card and hand it to the dad of the child you want to have sex with and be like, here you go. You see?
I just started a new church here. Thanks for your consideration.
Maybe you didn't hear, but let me fill you in. I'm not a weirdo. I'm starting a new church. Here's my card. Now, if you'll excuse me, me and your 13-year-old daughter are going to go upstairs. I understand she has a cut on her foot. Maybe a whole bunch at this point. We don't know. But then he says something that no one else before or since will ever say. He says, can I have you read something? That's the craziest thing. Because
a total reverse compared to Chris's normal. Let me read this to you. Can you read something?
He brought evidence to prove that he wasn't there to do the thing that he was there to do.
This was his alibi.
It's, again, if you want to break it down, he says, hey, let's go over the whole thing first. Then I'll make a mockery of it. He says, hey, can I have you read something? And Chris is like, sure. I love reading. Obviously, look at this chat log. Let's read that while we're talking. Dude, you say dick 478 times. So he goes, Dell, get out to that man's car and get that letter. He put it in an envelope as if he were going to send it to somebody. He wrote, did the perfect business trifold, slipped it into an envelope. This will stop a father from cutting my dick off. And he threw it in the passenger seat. Because he uses it. He made a plan to use it. Can I get you? Sure. Here you go. And then he makes him read it himself.
And his whole excuse was, I was going to meet a total stranger. This was my safeguard.
But here's the thing. If I walk into your house and there's a binder in your handwriting and it says, my plan to murder somebody. And I open it and it says, yep, here's the person they're going to murder. Shawn laid it all out. There's diagrams, lots of cool pictures, news articles. He's obviously a, Son of Sam type weirdo here. But then you get to the last page, right? And there's a letter. Not even a letter. It's a piece of paper. And you go, what's this? You unfold it. And he goes,
I didn't do it.
Just kidding. Psych. Not going to do it. But we found a body like the, Mark Twitchell. You know that case?
Uh-huh.
It would be like as if you read Mark Twitchell's script based on the murder he committed. And then he goes, aha, but you haven't read the last page. Psych. It's just one word. Psych. Gotcha, bitch. Oh, well, I guess we can disregard literally every detail of the murdered body we found in your script. Because you like what was it? What was Psych on? USA?
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes.
he's a big mentalism fan, apparently, this Mark Twitchell character, in my head. None of this actually happened in real life. So yeah, Net Buckeye has to read his letter.
So hold that thought. Are you okay? Like, murder's been on the mind a lot.
I'm a true crime fan. So it's just a matter of course. When you watch a lot of like dudes online rag on murderers, it's always there. So, that's my own cross to bear is a bunch of murderers.
And his next victim in case I go missing.
But that's the thing. If you're a true crime person, never commit murder. Because every murder is like, Oh, yeah, you literally can't control any aspect of a murder. There's blood everywhere. You're the last person to be seen with them. That's impossible not to do. If you murder someone, it's impossible not to be the last person they were seen with. Unless you can puppet their body on strings over to their mom's house and wave at them through the window, which is impossible. They would see the helicopter. They'd see the strings. They'd see the eyelids closed and the fake eyes painted on them. Hi, Grandma. And you'd wander up. No. They say, that was an odd experience. When was the last time she wasn't a puppet, and who was she with? This murdered person we found.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of tempted. That sounds interesting.
If you're gonna do it, here's my advice. If you can swing it, it'll take some time. You need to get a military grade run silent helicopter. Otherwise, you're going to jail.
Okay, cool. So that's all I need.
But those things are huge. So hope to God they don't look up. Also, the fishing line, you're going to have to, we'll talk later.
All right.
So the Net Buckeye says, let me read you this letter, 1-page letter that says, I want to be a mentor. And Chris says, oh, I've got 75 pages that said you want to blast her in the poop hole. So which is real? This novel, this Great Gatsby of sexual grossness, or this one letter where you're like, I would like to mentor a child? Yeah, not for nothing, but sometimes it's quantity over quality. In this case, I would say the quantity beats the quality of the letter. He could be his very own Henry James Thoreau in the letter. If he was Ron Jeremy in the chat, it doesn't matter. They're going to prosecute both of you. Henry James Thoreau and Ron Jeremy are going to jail. They're the same man.
But the interesting thing was, he was one of the only ones that they just kind of casually like, okay, we're not going to cuff you now, but we're going to give you a summons.
Yeah. So his plan kind of worked. His plan in his head was like, I'm going to write this letter so it'll be a get out of jail free card because it says, hey, I'm a good guy. Even though I wrote it, it seems a little biased, whatever. This is the one time in this investigation where that angry black-haired cop with the baseball cap who was like, get on the ground. He just walks out and he goes, hey, we'd like to talk to you down at the station. Are you willing to come? My answer in that instance, no. But he's like, sure. Yeah, then they arrested him because, yeah, I mean, why?
The one detective's like, you know what? No, bullshit. He set this up.
Yeah, word to everybody. There's a book out there that is called "You Have the Right to Remain Innocent." Long and the short of it is, literally, every time some cop comes to you when a crime has been committed and you get a whiff of them leaning on you, get a lawyer. Because it's way more important to be like, case closed, and your ass is rotting in jail and they get a star and you didn't do it. Get a lawyer. Even if you're guilty. I mean, if you're guilty, you're going to get a lawyer because you're already a criminal and you know how to work the system. But if you're not, and you're one of these people who's like, yeah, I'll help, because that's part of true crime too. You cannot watch true crime without seeing how many fuck-ups there are. Get a lawyer. Even if you're a weirdo and you're a pedophile, it doesn't matter. If you're a weirdo and a pedophile, you're already going to have that plan. Because if you're like, I'm a weirdo, I'm going to get myself a lawyer. But if you're a regular dude, they will still throw your ass in jail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A lawyer's not going to necessarily keep you out, especially if they have like a phone book sized breaking down of your anatomy. You know what I mean? Not for nothing. But that's the thing. You can get people always say this. They say, oh, give criminals ideas. They already have the ideas. Where do you think these ideas come from? Criminals. They're doing it all day, every day. They are working to game the system. The stupid ones we catch. Those are the luckies. The ones that we don't catch, we don't know about. The ones we catch, 40% of them get away. Statistics are staggering. So what comes after this dude? They haul him off. He doesn't get arrested. He's kind of boring and he's kind of smug and whatever. He's a kind of a non-issue aside from the letter.
Well, for this gentleman, if I remember correctly, we just got one more after that, and that gentleman was Rutherford. I.U. Rutherford.
I.U. Rutherford. Yes. So what was his real name or his description? Because I know the dudes by look and by real name. I always forget their screen names. I.U. Rutherford. He's the teacher.
He was the teacher.
Yes. Okay. And he's the one who comes over with the most humanity.
He was. So as I'm watching this, James
Rutherford. Yeah.
As I'm watching him, and I'm because of all the TV I've watched and the true crime, and everything, it's 100%. His actions are grooming.
Right.
He is 100. Like he's working on grooming this decoy child to kind of, I'm your best friend. Just let me come over.
Those are the dudes, because like there's a gradient of all these people, as with everything. With everything, you've got the guys who pop up, they're online 20 minutes, they're at the house in the next 10. And then you got the dudes like, we'll get to it eventually, but Lauren Armstrong from the Kentucky one, I believe, dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of pages over months. And you're just like, where's the energy? Number one. But like, it's just staggering amounts of stuff when you can see both tactics working. The dude who's like, yeah, I got a dong, and if you want it, you can. And they say, great. And 5 minutes later, they're there. But imagine being the decoy who landed Lauren. And then you think, because every time you are a decoy and you get online, you say, all right, time to do some fishing. I'm sure what you hope for is like a very quick, like, snag, yank, and they're in the boat. Mm-hmm. But if they go days and days and days, and now you're having to foster a fake relationship with this person. I'm not saying that Lauren wasn't worth it, because he spawned his own subculture. But like 9 times out of 10, if a dude is going to drag you along and groom you, like the will of an iron eagle, that decoy, because you think it's a middle-aged man or woman having to pretend very poorly to be a child, and no one ever sees through the charade. Like if I tried to be a kid, someone would call me on it.
Given that early 2000s Wood, W-U-L-D.
Yes. Or cool, like K-E-W-L, or see you later. And all this like, yeah, we get it. Like teenagers are hilariously bad and woefully terrible at grammar. Whatever.
And so are we at adults.
Yeah. So, and this dude, James Rutherford, that's the thing. He comes off with the most humanity because he is the most manipulative. Yeah. He's smart. He's a teacher. He says things that bring it incredibly weird and close to home. Because he's like, oh, if you were a student, I'd do blah, blah, blah. But then he's like, no, I'd never done that with a student. I just role play with kids and will escalate one day to assaulting someone very close to me. That's it, Chris. I'm not a weirdo yet.
It's like I haven't crossed that line, but
right.
You're pretty close there.
It's so crazy that there he is sitting at the house in front of Chris Hansen. He's like, I've never crossed that line. But he's seeing like the line he's unwilling to cross so far, but he's forgetting that behind him are literally dozens of lines he sailed over. And everyone on the sidelines is like, no, it's for perverts. And he's like, this guy's Al Bundy at Poke High. And then he gets there and he's about to do his Poke High dance. And that's when Chris Hansen comes out. Poke High. And he goes, really?
Mid like, huh? Oh, shit.
And then he has to backpedal and be like, I don't know. What do you say? He doesn't want to say what he does. Obviously, like and he is smart.
It's like, I know this is going to be on TV. I don't want to say. Want to say.
He knows. Everybody else is like, huh? What? When the cameras come out, they're like, whoa. And that's why everybody's reeling and the cops have to yell at him 90 times. This guy comes in, woke about the situation completely. Because, to back it up a little bit, when he comes in and Dell's trying to beckon him inside, and he's like, no, come here. He's like trying to get him to the door. So he knows. He knows what he's doing.
Fishy here.
He's got a plan that he's executing perfectly so far. And then to come in and be like, because then when Chris says, I like to come in here. He goes, that's what I thought, and shuts the door and comes inside. If you have a plan without an exit strategy, your reward is getting reamed by Chris Hansen.
Mm-hmm.
Because the door was open. The door was still open. And he could have, like when Chris said, I actually like to come, you to come in here. He could have said, no, walked out, saved himself the embarrassment. the confrontation, like the grueling you're going to get. This is no longer ethereal. It's not a possibility. You are now standing in a room with a man in a very professional shirt, tie, suit with a clipboard. And for some reason, every sex pervert is drawn to him like a moth to a flame in this episode.
Yes.
They can't run. Chris comes in so commanding. It's just like he's the hand of God. He comes in and he says, well, good news. I'm here. It's the rapture. Now sit down. And everybody goes, oh, Jesus. And they sit down. And then Chris, verbally pummels them with his blackjack of chat log and all this other stuff. And then they walk out like beaten mules, except for Rutherford, who's like, the cops are out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then to prolong the inevitable, I think they say he stays for like 40 minutes.
What's that guy say?
Yeah, he comes in.
He did. He sat there. He talked for 40 minutes.
And it's the bulk of it is after the cameras come out.
Mm-hmm.
So not only is it like, uh-oh, me and this dude are now in an awkward situation. Ugh. And then Chris says, well, we're on Dateline. 2 camera dudes with cameras 50 pounds apiece. 2 sound dudes. Big, long mics on poles.
Uh-huh.
And then imagine sitting there for another 30 minutes talking about why you're here.
It is like, I'm going through a divorce. I'm using this as a coping mechanism.
Every time I'm under stress, I think, what is the one law I can break that will alleviate my stress right now? Is it shrooms? Is it assault? Should I murder someone? I'm feeling stressed, but how stressed? Am I murder stressed or am I petty larceny stressed? Am I sexual assault stressed or am I, public intoxication? That's how I unwind. I look at the penal code and I say, which one is it today, Dervis? You're stressed. Who do we victimize? Shut the fuck up, Rutherford, you fucking idiot. I was going through a divorce. My wife is an adult. So I thought, why not a child? Now, in retrospect, it sounds crazy, doesn't it? Having an adult wife at home, trying to fix that up, realizing adults aren't for me. It's a sad story, Chris. Let me tell you how it started. When I was 40 minutes, he sat there. They must have gone over the dude's whole life.
You would literally think it's like, all right, just lay on the couch. Just at this point, just lay on the couch. What was your relationship like with your mother?
All people are desperate for is someone to ask them a question. And I think that's why most of them are drawn in. Because if someone says, hey, you're a weird sex pervert, Alonzo, for everyone from Alonzo to Rutherford, pew. Because you'd say, look at you, you're a weirdo. But the first thing Chris says always is a question. So human nature says, I got to answer. Oh, you get lost? Rough time of night to be out here. Could you come over here, please? All of them are like, da, 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 da. And so you're perfectly conditioned. He's a journalist. He knows how to ask
the right questions.
It's not even the right question because it's all the same question. It's like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Was the drive long? He just says it in such a way that it sounds like it's coming to you from NBC, and you go, like it's like a TV. You're just drawn to it like a moth to a flame. And they sit there and they say, yes, Chris, I'm a sex weirdo. And he's like, don't you feel bad about that? And he goes, yeah, I feel bad about being a sex weirdo.
Whatever
and he's like, what?
The greater good.
I was not aware of that. The sex pervert's against the law for children. Oh,
I haven't done anything yet.
See, I'm studying medicine. They don't talk about having sex with children at the doctor's office because I'm not a cop. If I were a cop, I would obviously know sex with children's bad, but I'm not. I don't know. He's slowly turning into Steven Seagal, I feel. Hello, Chris. I've come to have sex with a child. Oh, hello, Steven. Hi. Oh, you're sweating. There's black lines running down the side of your face, and your hair seems to be disappearing. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm just off the set of my 19th movie of 2004. Just got back from Bulgaria. I live there now. Nobody wants me. I keep asking the Russians. They say, no, you're a dick. I come back to America. They say, we don't like you either. I live in Croatia. Very sad man. I'm Steven Seagal. Anyway, I digress again. So he's our last dude. Now is the part where we get in all the interviews, and sometimes So there's a nice, you didn't obviously do all the background that I've done in my long and storied history, but there's a bunch of Predator Raw and behind the scenes stuff. So for this episode alone, there is a ton of interrogation stuff that's hilarious. Mm-hmm. And by virtue of just coincidence, people find the hidden shit. Like there's a part where I forget who it is. It doesn't matter. It's an outtake, so it never made it. But like one of the dudes is like clumsily fidgeting at the table and like yanks loose one of the microphones. And he goes, "Oh, what is this?" And Chris is like, "That's a microphone. Please put it back." And he goes, "Oh," tapes it back up there.
My mistake.
It's so good. Like they will look at the cameras and be like, "Huh?" And pull off one of the microphones taped to the bottom of the thing and be like, "Testing." Push it back under there. Anyway, I'm just here for a child. Camera over there, microphone over here. Where's the kid? Missing one of the three things I need.
Like, you can't charge me nothing. There's no kid.
That's the thing. One of the guys, it's not in this episode, but it's worth bringing up. One of the dudes says, Your Honor, I don't know if this is true or not, but I hear tell that that's not even a child. She's an actor and she's from New York City or whatever. And it's like, yeah, welcome to the sting.
But you thought she was a child.
Yeah,
so
just like when they put a undercover detective in a mini skirt and with her tits hanging out, she's pretending to be a prostitute. She's not a prostitute. They're not going to arrest her. She's pretending. So that child was an adult pretending. So you can't be like, well, turns out they were pretending. So all that sick shit I said that I thought was to a child, ha-ha! Bulletproof. I said, oh, did you think she was a child? Well, yeah. Aha, guilty. Simple as that.
She was age confused.
Just like, oh, because that everybody's minutia of trying to get out of this shit is always so insane. Like just think of it the other way. If this weren't a weirdo type thing that was obviously avoided and was fabricated from the start, let's say it's a real life situation. The police bust in. It's not Chris Hansen. The police bust in. And they go, what the fuck? You wouldn't tell a cop, like, I'm having a divorce. You don't understand. I'm very sad, officer. Now, please, this 13-year-old was almost ready. And I am very sad.
This is what's going to help me get through it.
You don't understand me, Mom. I need this. My wife is angry. Jesus told me not to, but I said, fuck it. Literally. It being Dell.
Put down the child.
It's so, and it's fun to get to see the two sides of the detective, because you've got what's his name, Detective Mike Burns, I think is the dude that does the talking head stuff. So he's your classic archetypal detective: cop stash, cop hair, cop suit, ill-fitting brown and garbage, and he goes, you know. Cops do that thing where they talk forever and say nothing. And this is this dude. All the cops do that. Except for Lee DeBrabander, my favorite. We'll get to him eventually. Lee DeBrabander, favorite detective. But this dude's like, yeah, we've got sex perverts, and you guys came in and got them for us. Thanks. Cool.
Leg work for me.
Glad you were here. But then the angry detective guy who goes from shouting and getting him into the cars to like, all right, so you came here from Kentucky to Ohio to have sex with a child? He's like, no finesse. Like, because if you're a true crime buff, you will see these delicate ballets of interrogations that last hours. Uh-huh. And they say, we're friends. Was it an accident? All the good cop, bad cop, all the tactics. And in To Catch a Predator, it's two big angry dudes, one bald dude and our dude with the hat. And it's bad cop, bad cop. Because it's almost like the dude with the hat's like, so you came here to have sex with a child? And they go, oh, yeah. And then whenever the bald guy speaks, he's like, what's your goddamn address? You piece of shit. Like, at some point, you feel like the old guy's going to come and, like, wring the dude's neck, and he's the bad cop. Whereas the good cop is like, what's your problem, fuckface? And he's the good cop. Like, at any moment, if he weren't so tired of shouting at dudes all day, I feel like the good cop would be the one to get up and kill the dude. But we have a bigger, older, angrier cop to act as like the rock biter.
Tables in between us.
Yes, but he's not going anywhere. He's rock biter from Neverending Story. He's there to make a big, oh, hey, don't make me come over there. He's not getting anywhere. He's 900 pounds. He's bald and he looks angry. But you don't know that. You got bad cop, and the baddest cop is this big flesh mountain. You go, ah!
Please, no.
Yeah, that's all they're funny. Oh my god! And the dudes who, because the camera crew follows him through the whole thing. Chris ain't there, but they put a camera crew on every dude who goes to
everybody.
The thing. So you get to see him like do the whole fingerprinting thing, and at this point, no matter how you feel about your situation, you have to see that it's useless. Because by the time you get to the station, you've already been captured cumulatively hundreds of man hours on footage. But now, at the 19th hour where they're taking your fingerprints, you decide to cover your face? Alonzo? Really? You fucking idiot. We saw you. You got up, said, your ass got drugged through the grass by a bunch of cops, and now it's practically the next day. They're taking your fingerprints, and you're like, oh, God, here are the cameras. Time to cover the old eyes. No Alonzo here.
It's not me this time. It's not me. It's not me.
Yeah, I just came to party. I mean, nothing. What? These fucking guys. Yeah. So the first small town, Greenville, tiny, full of weirdos. And one of the peculiarities they keep bringing up is like, yeah, it happens even in small towns. But then they sort of undercut that because since like Greenville, Ohio, or the one they do in Kentucky, or all those little small towns they actually do, they say, since we're in the middle of nowhere, these dudes have to drive 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then what point are you proving? If you say, yeah, it can happen anywhere, but it's obviously not. If every dude has to come 4 hours away, then your locale is pretty safe then, right?
Yeah.
Because these dudes, like dudes and chicks, all the decoys are in local chat rooms. So that means at the very least, most of our boys are far away. So they're at least taking that step. They're not stupid enough to be like, well, I live in Ohio. I'll find a child in Ohio. They say, I live in Kentucky. They say, I live in Illinois. They say, I live in wherever. I will be willing to drive 5 hours. Weird. Because then it's kind of a double-edged sword. Because think about it like this. When dudes cheat or ladies cheat, try to keep it close. So that if you do, like, hey, surprise, blah, 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 gotta meet me here, you can get there. But if you're like our buddy Tim, who
2.5
drives
hours,
hours and hours and hours in the middle of the night, what if your wife calls, texts, and you're 15 minutes from the 15-year-old's house and 2 hours and 50 minutes from your house, and she says, honey, I need you. And you go,
oh, fuck.
All right, now I need to make up an excuse that will take 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm sure what he probably said was like, hey, I'm taking the basketball team or the football team out on a thingamajig. We're going to play the Eagles, neighboring county. Be gone all night. And then imagine being that wife. You're like, oh, yeah, my husband. And somebody picks up the
all the time with the kids. No worries.
Yeah, fucking cop picks up the phone. He's like, hey, are you Tim the pedophile's wife? She goes, yes. How did you know he's a pedophile? And he goes, because we caught him. He's a pedophile, and we caught him here in Greenville, Ohio. And she goes, no. He's teaching basketball. And they go, really? Because then what do? It's like, you're going to have to get in your car and drive 2 hours to come get your husband. Because we're keeping your car. They always keep the cars.
I wish they would do a follow-up series with the aftermath.
So they do. It's just unofficial. There's a million YouTube channels out there that are like catching up with all the predators. Unsurprisingly, not many of them are doing very well. Since, obviously, by virtue of the fact that it has been so long, some of them are dead. And I'll tell you a little secret. He doesn't know that I know, but I follow one of them on Twitter. You may or may not know this dude, but Stephen Coates from one of the California ones who showed up, the musician who brought a mixed CD of his own music.
Didn't we do an episode on him? Like, wasn't that part of our first? Or was he in the third?
It's been so long I don't remember. Probably. But yeah, Stephen Coates. He's the white-haired dude, old dude, shows up in the jacket, and Chris Hansen's like, what do you got there? And he's like, oh, a mix CD of my music. He's on Twitter. And I follow him. And
I hope for his music, right?
And everything he tweets has a subtle, sinister swirl that's like, even the stuff where it has nothing to do, because he's like every other simp out there.
Uh-huh.
When a sexy lady posts a picture and says, what do you think of these tits? He goes, love them a lot, or whatever. Mm-hmm. He's one of these dudes who is constantly being like, hey, pay attention to me. I'm not worth your time. But Twitter lets anyone interact with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And every once in a while, I'll check back in with his music because he's still producing music. So here's a little trivia. After his entanglement with the Catcher Predator, he wrote a song called Thought Crime. Can you see where he may have pulled the basis for that artistically? Also, it's a dog shit song. And it had stayed on his episode up until a few years ago.
Of course.
Because I think I found him on Twitter in like 2016-ish. And I hit up his website and I'm like, yep, Thought Crime is still there. 10 years, 12 years after the fact, he's carrying that torch. He's like, how dare you arrest me for me only thinking of having sex with a child? I only thought it. And I'm going to write a song. Thought crime. I'm not making that up. It sounded like this. Thought crime. And then it just sort of, it's garbage. So not only,
ow,
because let's say you're Michael Jackson, people will look the other way on mountains of pedophilia if you're a pop star and talented. Mm-hmm. But they won't look past a single one if you're not, and he is not. So they said, guess what, buddy? You're no OJ. You're no MJ. Go to jail. That's the J you get.
But you are the JJ.
You aren't OJ, but you get OJ. You're not Orenthal James, but you get the original jail cell. Right? OJC, I guess. Unless jail cell is one word. Somebody look that up. Is it hyphenated? I need third-party verification. Thought crime. It's starting to devolve. We've been going for a while. So we've hit everybody, right?
That's everybody.
Is there anything that I have missed that you feel there is something... Somebody's holding up a peace sign. 2 words. Okay, so yeah, OJC.
Oh, the original Jesus. Got it.
Yeah. Original Jesus Christ. Hanging out in the original Jesus cell. Jail cell, not Jesus. I guess any cell that Jesus goes into is a Jesus cell. And maybe he becomes a terrorist and it's a Jesus splinter cell. Or a sleeper cell. You know what the smallest...
Or JSC.
You know what the smallest form of wood is? It's a splinter cell. I thought you'd like that. I said it already, but I formed in the phrase of a joke, and now it's like, haha, still not funny.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, Greenville, Ohio is not one of my favorites. We had to do it. It's sort of, there are legitimately very few high points.
Yeah.
Because they're really straining. They really hit the evangelical church. They really hit the foot thing. The only like legitimate hilarity that people bring with them literally is Alonzo with his like gallons of booze and his dude's anti-rape letter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine if other types of criminals implemented that. Like you're a date rapist who brings a letter and after you're done drugging them and doing your thing, you leave it on their nightstand. You say, hey, I meant to be a mentor.
You came on to me.
Yeah. P.S. Dear person sleeping, who I just fucked. My name is Net Buckeye. Please forgive any mess. You were out of toilet paper. We had sex. This letter says it's okay. Please file this away in your records.
I used your clean linen. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Also, you're running low on milk, and I finished your What the fuck? My Cheerios!
I was saving those for a special night.
This is the worst get out of jail free letter I've ever had. Anyway, yeah, but that's the thing. Greenville, Ohio, since it was such a small town, all these people are simpletons. It's just a bunch of monkeys trying to fuck a football, literally, until we get to our criminal mastermind by virtue of comparison alone. The bell curve is very low. The teacher, who comes in and is actually like trying to use his manipulation when everyone else is like, I don't know. I'm Muslim. I'm just a hillbilly. I like to glug glug. I like to party. What a great excuse.
And like I said, immediately just watching this guy and like listening to the chats and everything, just 100% was, let me be your friend. It's okay.
Those dudes who say like, it could even be me. And then they show up.
Heck, looks like it was you.
That's Red Riding Hood looking at the wolf in grandmother's clothing, seeing the wolf face, and the wolf being like, I'm the wolf. And Red Riding Hood going, huh.
That's rough.
Fascinating. I brought a picnic basket. Did you have any inclination for jam? What? Get out of there, fucking idiot. The woodsman's coming. The angry woodsman who is our fat detective is outside, so there's no problem. But at least pretend. Jesus Christ. If you're going to be a predator, predate things. Imagine if you were a lion walking through the gazelle. I'm not going to eat any of you. I just have a few questions and a letter. What would Jesus do? I don't know. I'm a lion.
With a letter.
Yeah, walking through all three paws except for the one in the air holding the letter. Hand it to a wildebeest. And while they're reading it, fucking idiots. Animals are smarter. Humans are animals. So I don't know what I'm saying. Oh, boy. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this second edition, which happens to be the 4th episode. So it's somewhere around 2/3 of an episode. I hope that was interesting and fun. These guys are batshit insane for the most part. We just happened to land on one that came down the line. It was like, we didn't get much, but we got to crank it. Like when we get to Texas, that's when it gets good. California.
Honestly, out of this episode, I would say part 2 is actually the better of the two.
Yeah, because
like you get some of the weirder guys, like you had the midget,
right? Yeah, Stephen.
Who's a reoccurring like hardcore.
Yes,
and then you have the guy where he was the 27-year-old deli worker. I don't know
Jeff
what I was
Stacy.
doing, and just they tried to shank himself.
You're talking about throat cancer, Mickey Mouse. That's how everybody knows him. Because I say,
oh boy,
I didn't know I was going to have sex with her. She looked like an adult, and I sound like a child. Like he probably got her on the phone. He's like, hey, it's me, Mickey. I smoke a lot. I can get some salami and some prosciutto. I work at a deli. The whole time.
Do you want to taste my salami?
It's so sad. And the fact that you bring that up, that joke never goes addressed. He works at a deli, and Chris never says, man, he brought his own salami, or can't wait to whip out a sausage, or look at all the cheese around his taint. Something related to delis, and they're like, here he is. Jeff Stacy, a broke dick deli worker at a Fry's who wears 2 hairnets, one over his mustache and one over his hair. And he says, can I get you some roast beef? I didn't know. It's like, close your eyes and listen to him get interrogated. It sounds like Mickey Mouse getting the 3rd degree. I say, let's talk about Jeff Stacy for just a little bit, because he is a fascinating character.
Just literally out of the whole, yeah.
He comes in, he stole a mustache from a 12-year-old because he's got 9 hairs that he's strategically placed on his upper lip. He's trying his hardest. I get it. They're not for everybody. Stop. Doesn't matter. He's a pedophile. So he shows up, and he's immediately sketchy. She goes, hey,
walked in.
I got to do something. Go wait at the bar. And he goes, the only time his voice is lower than Mickey's is when he goes, okay. He says okay twice in a moderate human voice. And then Chris pops up and he's like, I wasn't going to have sex with her. Oh, Donald, help! What the fuck? Hey, I'm just going to kill myself. There's nothing to live for.
As soon as that detective's like, you're going to jail, right? Please, no.
Please, no. Pluto, help! Who's going to feed Pluto? What will Minnie do? Who will take care of the apartment? But he's just like such a fucking, and that it would be one thing if it was just his, ironically not, but actually goofy voice. But he comes in and he acts like a petulant child. He goes, no, I didn't. No! Like as if He was a child getting caught with cookies around his mouth. He has a cookie in his hand. He's like, yeah, you eating those cookies? No excuses. Just flat out denial.
Well, he was trying to justify it with
I didn't know.
because I don't see reality and internet as the same.
But
just because I typed it out and I haven't actually done it, it shouldn't count.
he's using the argument of a 90-year-old via the voice of a 3-year-old coming out of the body of a 27-year-old. He's basically like, I don't get technologies and emails. Oh, you don't? Get out of here, you rapscallion. Okay, bye. Thanks for nothing. I was going to have sex with a child, and I said I didn't want to, and they cut me off. Are you fucking kidding? This fucking guy. Oh, please, just let me go. Yeah, once you're arrested, please is the magic word.
Sure, definitely. After everything. No
And
worries.
the coup de grace, half-hearted, attempted, quote-unquote, the size of the Empire State Building, suicide. Attempted, I'm just going to kill myself. Put me in jail, and I'll end up dead. Goodbye, Walt. Goodbye, Matterhorn.
Grabs the ballpoint pen, is like, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, sign your name. And he's like, it's obviously, because it's like, he's like, here, sign your name. And it's like 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. He's like, then he takes the pen and he starts to sign. And I swear to God, if this is obviously not true, but in my mind, I almost feel like as the pen is coming up with the sharp side up, he flips it around to hit it with the back to be like, doink, just to scare him to see if like, oh, whoa, see, he almost killed himself. Get these handcuffs off. Smoking Mickey's got to get out of here. He almost died. We almost killed Mickey Mouse, they'd say. This poor man. Well, oh, wait, no, he's a 27-year-old pedophile with 9 hairs on his upper lip. Keep the cuffs on. Whew, I almost let him go. You almost got me, Jeff. That pen stunt, you almost got me.
I was going to believe you, but...
Get this guy in an
Remember you're a piece of
OJC.
shit.
Jesus, you got a roommate. And he throws his legs up on the desk and he eats his donut and he says, I'm bad cop 1.
Little do they know that Jesus' real name was Jesus.
Yeah. You get in there and it's not the long flowing hair and blue eyes of a nice white man. It's a 6'3", 780-pound dude. It's all muscle and gang tattoos. And there you are. Mickey Mouse.
No.
Yes. That's his last words. Imagine. Here's how the episode ends. It's all dark. Dark prison hallway. Dude, a new fish. There's Jeff Stacy. Little mouse ears. His tail quivering, walking down the thing. Guard. Open cell OCJ6. It's dark in there. You don't know what's in there. He takes one step in. Guard. Good luck. Clunk, 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 clunk down the hall. It's a big mass of something in the corner. One shiny, low light bulb in the cell. This massive mountain of a man steps into the light and he goes, hey, it's me, Jesus. Please, no. You did it. And the iris fades out. Merry melodies.
This isn't Mickey's Playhouse.
Pluto! You know. What a... Of all the people who needed
More
what they got,
Yeah.
and then some. Jeff Stacy. So how old are you? 27. I wonder, because I'm sure, I don't remember expressly, but I'm sure to land that 12-year-old and to get her all juiced up, he wasn't like, yeah, I can slice the mozzarella as thin as I want or as thick. I get to slice it however I want, bitch. I work in the deli. You're 12. I slice meat and cheese. Sometimes I go medium. I'm crazy. What? You've never seen roast beef that thick? Crank, crank, crank. Zoom, zoom. Size of your thumb, the thickness. You putting this on a sandwich? I'm Jeff Stacy. Oh, sorry. I'm Jeff Stacy. Ah! Then he says, now check this out. Cranks the knobs, the dials. Zoom. Slice the roast beef. 1 micron. You can see through it. It's nothing more than a shimmering beef window. And now all those skills are gone. He's rotting in jail with the OJC. What a waste. All of those slicing skills now down the toilet. Literally. He lives near a toilet and he sleeps in it sometimes. Anyway, guys, I hope that all of that was something. Thank you for listening. Shawn, obviously, thank you for coming in and doing this all over again.
Always a pleasure.
We've got plenty more to go, and hopefully we can get them
A little more frequent.
right. You know, everybody loves Christmas, but everybody's bummed it's only once a year. Maybe we can make TCAP 2 or 3 times a year. Who knows? We'll have presents. We'll put up the TCAP tree. We'll have Jeff Stacy on the tree. He'll say, "Ah!" Little angel up there. Oh, what a beautiful sight. Just a little Jeff Stacy head and a little angel body doing the little motorized wave. He's holding a candle. Candle in one hand. I love children in the other. Little motor.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's got instead of the candle, he's got a pen. He's got a pen and a block of mozzarella. And he's constantly shoving his pen into the neck, and he's holding the mozzarella in defense of his craft. Master slicer. Threw it all away. It's a rough program to get into. 10,000 hours of slicing cheese. Now nothing.
We always knew he couldn't hack it.
He sliced it. Oh, boy. Yeah, we're definitely running out of gas. Guys, thanks for so much listening. Thanks for so much listening. If you've listened so much, thank you. If you've listened not enough, no thanks.
Listen
Get it.
more.
Listen more for the thank you. Listen less to get nothing. Goes for you too, Shawn. Everybody in this room, you're on notice.
We'll blame the wife.
You're probably thinking, what does that even mean? It's for you to figure out. I say the things. You listen to them and understand them. Not my job, okay? I'm zen as shit over here. Let's do staff recommendations. That's the thing we do on the show. What would you like to recommend to our listeners, Shawn? It doesn't have to be related to any sort of Mickey Mouse, adjacent shenanigans. Is there something like a movie or a book or a game or something you like that you want our audience to experience for themselves?
Yes, 100%. If you're in the valley, or
Don't do it 90.
Even if you don't want to, even if you're not in the valley, my all-time favorite Irish pub. The only downfall to this place, it's on Mill.
Is it the Rulabula?
It is Rulabula.
Aren't they closing?
They are, sadly. So if you have the chance, get there, experience their fish and chips just once. You'll never find anything like it.
If your thing is fish and chips, I am not a fan of fish. Chips are fine. I'll take chips. Fish, what the hell is that? It's not on the land. It lives in the water. And then, you cook it and it's white? Blech. Blech. Just thinking about it. It's an awful recommend. No, just kidding.
Okay, fine.
The
Nice steak
Rulabula.
and ale pie. They have nice steak and ale pie too.
Well, and it's kind of I don't want to say it's a historic thing, but it's made to look old. I don't know how old the building is, but everything in downtown Tempe is sort of that lineage. Mm-hmm. So it's a double dip. You've got supporting a local business that's been here for a million years on its way out.
Oh yeah.
So you get that little bit of history, you get a little bit on the tail end if you're local. But while you're down there, there's a ton of shit to do in Mill too. Check out one of their smoke shops. They're all bonkers. Every time, I've never been in one, full disclosure. But I keep going down there, and I would take foreign exchange students. When Trum was here, when Bruno was here, we'd go down to the Mill area, look at all the weird stuff. It's a college town. It's crazy. Ah, look at that guy. He's got a cat on his shoulder. Oh, that's what happens in downtown Tempe. I say, let's go check out the smoke shop, because you need to see an American smoke shop I need to show you that white people burn out. I said that to Bruno, and I said that to Trum. I said, let me show you a white burnout. And we walk up. It's a smoke shop. They're not selling weed. You should be able to walk in. They said, no kids. Damn it. And they're always this too young. 17 and 9 months. Still, they will not let you in. If you're 18, you can look at all the bongs you want. 17 years and 364 days. Your virgin eyes shan't be sullied, my friend. Glass in a circle with a tube? Are you kidding?
No.
Get out of here! So the Rulabula.
What do you recommend?
There's a smoke shop on Mill that has the greatest bong in the world. No.
Isn't that the Godzilla one? The one that's 10 feet long?
Yeah, that's the great thing about bongs is they don't have to make sense because you're selling them to people who aren't looking to make sense. Just drive by a smoke shop and look through the window. You'll see things that dazzle the eye and blow the mind. But if you see someone who's like, hey, you know how to use that? And they go, yeah. You're like, What?
You okay there?
It's 10 feet tall. It looks like that old pipe screensaver from the Windows 98 days. It fills a room, and you use it to get high. And they go, oh yeah, dude, bro. 420. Now let me read High Times magazine and eat some tasty gnar or whatever. They're all very chill, but it's still like, what? What are you doing? What am I recommending? I don't know. That's the thing. Full disclosure, this is now like, out of the last 8 days, I've done 6 shows, and I'm running out of shit that I do. Oh, here, self-serving. See this little tumbler? It's got our logo on it. You can pick these up on our store. There's a link in the description or somewhere. I don't know, whatever. If you want to, I'm glad they started making these tumblers because it's like the perfect size, and it's got my logo on it. So you can't see it. I keep holding it up to the camera. Can you see? Wait. Usually there's a live show in here. Here's the thing. When you do 2 things, you have to remember they're different. Because at one, people can see you and you can do things. I say, oh, I see that. The rest of the time, they're listening. I'm doing a bunch of zany shit and they're going, huh? Is he doing something? Because that might make it funny. Research. That's what it takes. So yeah, buy one of our tumblers. Whatever. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're on all that. Don't tell anybody, though. I don't want weirdos in here. I keep telling people that. And I'm glad they're listening. Ooh, weirdos. We don't want any Mickey Mouse type dudes. We don't want any Jay Rutherfords running around. If Alonzo slips in here, you're out. So don't like, share, or subscribe. It's not for them.
If you put this on podcast,
Yeah, keep it to your... Here. If you download it, you don't share it. You make me a pinky promise. You wrap your headphone cord around your pinky and you shake it like hell. Oh, you're probably saying, well, Dave, it's 2021. What's a cord? Well, get your... What? Not iPad. Your iPod. Your some sort... There's an Apple device that goes in your ear. Wrap it around your pinky. Maybe you're not rich. Listen, why are you listening to this show? We stopped 20 minutes ago. Why are you listening? Jesus Christ. Guys, Shawn, for the 40th time. Thanks. Appreciate it. We'll do it again. And until next time, because who knows when this is coming out, I'm Dave.
I'm Shawn.
Saying, watch out, because if you TCAP, you might end up in OJC. That doesn't make sense. See you next time.
Sounds good to me.
For this, try to